A 600-page report outlined what the U.S. Department of Justice called cascading failures in the law enforcement response to the Uvalde school shooting.
Stopping short of recommending charges against the officers involved in the completely botched response. The report detailed not just the failures on the day of the shooting, but in the days and weeks after the shooting. Fox 4's Blake Hansen is live with details from this report. Blake.
As Stephen Heather, an expert told me today, while there have been past reports examining what went wrong in Uvalde, the DOJ has a lot of law enforcement expertise and resources that it's able to leverage, which led to this massive report today.
The law enforcement response to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary was a failure.
The roughly 600-page report from the Department of Justice breaks down the array of failures by law enforcement in the 2022 shooting at Robb Elementary. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland says law enforcement failures contributed to the loss of life.
Had the law enforcement agencies followed generally accepted practices in an active shooter situation and gone right after the shooter to stop him, lives would have been saved and people would have survived.
The report says 11 officers first arrived on scene, but upon hearing gunfire, 5 ran toward the classroom while the other 6 did not advance down the hallway, including Uvalde Police Department Acting Chief Mariano Pargas. After 2 officers were hit by shrapnel, the rescue operation slowed down. The report and past investigations have noted then Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo treated it as a barricaded subject instead of an active shooter, which would have called for an immediate entry to take down the gunman. Instead, it took 77 minutes. But the DOJ findings also point out the numerous signs ignored during that time there was still an active shooter.
They were still waiting as broadcasts went out on officer radios that a student trapped inside rooms 111 and had called 911 at 12:10 p.m. to say that that the student was in a room full of victims. That student stayed on the phone with 911 for 16 minutes.
First of all, I think it's a sad reminder of what happened on that day.
Alex Del Carmen is a criminologist who's trained thousands of law enforcement officers. He says the report shows that leadership matters a great deal.
For this chief to get out of his police car without a radio, for him not to be familiar with the fact that the classroom may have been unlocked, and for him not to have, at some point, someone regarded this scenario as being somebody barricading himself in the room, which really changes the scenario for law enforcement.
The report also points out leaders with other agencies on scene could have acted, finding no leader effectively questioned the decisions and lack of urgency of UCISD PD Chief Arredondo and UPD Acting Chief Pargas. Del Carmen says it also highlights the need for all law enforcement to have active shooter training and to practice that training alongside other agencies.
There were 400 people outside that classroom, all of them armed, and some of them trained, and some of them trained well, but there was no communication or coordination among them. And so what that means is they didn't know how to work with each other.
Governor Abbott released a statement about the report saying that the state has already adopted some of the recommendations that were outlined, and the state will continue to review all of those recommendations to see what others should be adopted. Stephen Heather.
Well, the more we learn, the more we hear, Blake. It's just maddening and disgusting and all those words. But we also are hearing something a little different that we haven't heard so far, extenuating mistakes with what went wrong with even medical responses and some of the communications with victims' families. What did the DOJ say about all that?
Yeah, so Steve, it kind of talked about how the leadership and organization issues also impacted the medical response as well. Well, it detailed different things that happened, like a patient who was needing an airlift was driven past a usable helicopter to a helicopter that was much further away. There was a victim that was already deceased who was transported to a hospital while there were injured children placed on school buses. There was even a situation where there was a victim being stretchered out to an ambulance, and the crew discovered their ambulance wasn't there anymore, that another crew had commandeered it. And so it basically outlined how the level of disorganization at the scene trickled down to impact
that even after the incident had ended. Steve.